Birdie at 1, birdie at 9. Trying to become the first player this week to get to 6 under par, but Jimenez will also have a putt to do the same.
You can almost see the hole on a slope from right to left. You see how far he's aiming this putt to the right.
The putts he did not make Thursday and Friday, he's starting to make now. It's back-to-back birdies. Woods leads by 1 for the moment.
That's the first one he's made from behind the hole that I can recall. The putts other than that one have been from below the hole.
Back to 10.
And you may have heard that roar while we were watching Tom Lehman playing his chip shot there. Just watch this. From the front fringe, Jimenez for 3. And in unison, the village of Turiana and all of Andalucia roar at the back of 10 green. And the local hero is tied for the lead.
Well, he ain't dead yet. Now Tiger, there's one of his favorite little chip-ins. Into the wind. This is slow coming back. Thank you. Well, now, you see, this young man does play a game, as Bobby Jones once had a game with which we're not too familiar, and he seems to be able to do it when it's most needed. We watched his career. Oh, some of us are old enough to remember him tiptoeing on the stage with Ed Sullivan, but we've seen him through the years, and we wondered if it was all going to be true, that it was ordained that he would become the greatest ever, but it certainly is. He's moving in that direction. That he won't shake this fellow off so easily. I tell you, it's going to be an interesting battle. But Tiger chipping in there for an eagle 3 is a bit of magic there, Curtis.
Boy, Peter, you know, we continue to talk about this man like he's superhuman, and he continues to prove that he might be. It's, you know, you don't want to build a guy up so much because sometimes he'll let you down. But this guy continues. Tiger Woods continues to do things that you know, most of us only dream of doing.
Well, to do that at that time, and a huge drive, careered off the fairway, found the sand, then a precise strike with a long iron just through the back of the green. We've seen a number of players chipping from the back, and they've all come up short, rather like the last green, the 10th, when he had that big swinging putt. He judged it to perfection. He got the line and the slope and everything right at the right moment. And he really is going through a purple patch at the moment.
You have to be careful. You know, if he was putting up the hill, he could do that. But the last thing you want to do is try to make this one, because then you'll run it 3 or 4 feet by the hole. Big swinger from the left. But when things are going well, don't leave him short, Mike, because the ball always gets on line. That's what I always said to myself. When things are going well, don't leave the ball short.
His lead is now 3, back to 11.
And I think things are going pretty well for him.
Well, they certainly look that way now. Jimenez must try and find the green with his second.
Amazingly enough, he has taken a 7-iron. The ball has a lot of grass around it, but it is sitting up in the rough. It's 217 yards all the way to the hole.
You see the wind speed up by the green, fluctuating from about 18 to 22, 23 miles an hour.
Swing with a lot of tempo, hit it up very high.
Pretty well did exactly the same as his fellow competitor. Landed short, just struggled on, needed one more.
Tigers played the last 6 holes in 6 under par. He leads by 3 at the 15th tee. Curtis.
Well, the flagstick way to the right, left to right wind. There's the flagstick. The smart play is obviously in the middle of the green, but this man's going so well right now, there's no telling where he'll shoot this ball. This is a 3-iron.
Missing to the right on a hole that has confounded Woods. The long and left double bogey earlier in the week. Well, Tiger is looking to win 4 consecutive PGA Tour starts, done by 3 other people. Byron Nelson twice, 45, of course, the 11 in a row, and then 45 at the end in the start of 46. Hogan did it twice, and Jackie Burke did it in 52, but it hasn't been done in 46 years.
Now a very similar shot to where Tiger just got it up and down from 2 holes ago. Maybe a little more green to work with, but so much depends on his lie, Gary.
It does, and he's pitching back a little bit into the breeze. He's been so good on these all week.
Kick right. Great shot.
Even when he's missed, he's been able to get it up and down and not work very hard doing it.
14.
Into the setting sun. Jimenez. Fighting well. Well, he's 3 behind. And that's a good position. They just hold. No. But not bad.
It's one thing in his favor. He has been putting well, so the confidence has to be high. And you certainly have to believe in yourself when you come down the stretch on Sunday afternoon.
This fella's grown in stature the last 2 or 3 years. He was really a good, steady player, and then suddenly he got a new lease of life. Confidence oozing through his stones. He's putting better, hits the ball for. He's just a very good, confident, professional player of the game of golf now. There was some 3, I tell you.
On this, the longest of the par 3s.
Now the 2-iron starts at the left side.
Follow the contour of the putting surface.
That is some shot. That is some shot. Look at him, he knows it too.
And he's been very nice with all the loud crowd noise, trying to quiet him down before Chris Perry hits. To 16.
Tiger for par. Well, that's the first chink we've seen. It's the first dropped shot of the day for Tiger.
And Ian, we just mentioned on the last green, if Jimenez made the birdie putt, it could be a 2-shot swing, and it happened just like that.
And this is a good 4 feet. This one's not that easy.
Exactly right, Gary. Now going with the wind downhill, left to right. And I'm sure Tiger expected it to be a bit more of a walk in the park with a 3-shot lead going to 15 in that fantastic birdie of Jimenez at 14. What a finish. Good save.
So the Tiger Woods lead is 1. An opportunity for birdie for Miguel Angel Jimenez. You see that Lee Westwood is finished At even par, he made his par, finishes ahead of Sergio Garcia. Westwood will be second of the European Order of Merit, behind Montgomery and ahead of Garcia. There's other business to still take care of. So a par putt will leave Jimenez one back with 3 to play. The 16th. The difficult, treacherous 17th. And the finishing hole that's only seen 1 birdie. 1 birdie today, 2 birdies yesterday. To that 17th hole.
Tiger laying up with his second.
You have a creek to the left that feeds into the lake short, and you have a lot of rough to the right, and that perfectly placed.
And there you see the little stream on the left-hand side. Tiger's still a way back, but I think his golfing brain will be telling him to just find the green and move on, just get a par. But it's not so easy. Now look at his last 10 starts. That's quite remarkable. I think the most remarkable thing is that whatever happens here, as far as Tigers are concerned, he will have won more money in 1 year than Jack Nicklaus won in his career. And this probably the most detesting shot that Tigers had to play for some time now, because this could, if he does make an error, could be very expensive.
Peter, this reminds me so much of the 3rd shot at 15 at Augusta National, because anything long is where you see so many balls, anything short comes back to the water. Has to make the mistake long.
But if you go long, it's no cinch in getting down to 2. I think if he gets a 5 here, 5 here today is a good score.
105 yards to the hole. The wind really in his face quite hard at the moment.
That should spin back to Doral. Steady, steady. Steady. Oh, that's silly. That was silly.
Peter, did you notice he actually stopped watching it? He thought he hit a pretty good shot.
Well, he did hit a beautiful, 8-10 feet past the hole, but to get that spin and accelerate down, that, to me anyway, is not what golf's all about. I mean, that was remarkable. You just can't believe it. It looks as if it's going to stop 6 or 7, 8 feet, no more than 8 feet short of the hole, and he spun it back in the water.
Peter, in all honesty, that's a little ridiculous, I think. That was a pretty doggone good shot. I mean, I don't know. We talked about it last week, that every slope down into every water hazard was shade banks. This is shade bank. Yes, the players know, but my gosh, when you have a par 4 playing, par 5 playing 5.5, a half a stroke over par, something's up.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a chance to see that one again, because, I mean, he played it beautifully, and it looked as if it had virtually stopped at one time. We'll go back to the 16th. Now, this opens up a whole new can of worms.
It certainly does. I'm not sure Jimenez doesn't know what's going on, but he could tell by the noise that something was happening down there at 17. And these last 3 holes today are playing, this is the 5th hardest hole, 17 is the hardest hole, 18 the 2nd hardest hole. So if you can make pars on these 3 closing holes, you'll leapfrog heaps of players in the field, and that's what's been happening. Back to 17.
Now let's have another look at this. Now watch how he plays it. Watch the control in the swing, the flight of the ball. I thought he'd gone a little bit too far at this stage. It pitches there, then just watch now. It starts to come back a bit, but you're sure it's going to flatten out. No, it's going to stop within 2 or 3 feet. Starts to accelerate now. Now he thinks it's fine. He thinks it's fine. He's going to have a look up in a minute. There at the edge of the green, and it's gone. And it's doing 10 miles an hour when it goes in the water.
And you know, Peter, the thing, when you watch that ball, that was not a ball that spun really hard back. It just gently rolled off the slope.